What's this? Luke quit press start? No, he didn't, but he has a baby, and he's coming to visit me. That's right.
Ah,
That's why he's missing it. Not just me. There's other people he's visiting. But I like to think that the only reason he's not here is because he's just preparing himself to talk to me in person for the first time in a little while. But with that being said, we got rid of the dead weight, and we're here to talk about video games on Press Start. It's me, Mr. Cow, with Cammy Huddlestone. Cammy, how are you
hey,
doing for 2 days into the scariest month of them all?
terrified.
Terrified. That's good.
Mm.
Cammy is streaming spoopy, scary games on Twitch at the moment. For what's the charity again? I can never
It's
remember the name.
it's safe in our world. It's
Safe in our world.
mental health and video games. It's amazing. I love them very much. So, I mean, if you want to donate, you can. You can get it through my Twitch or through my Twitter, or if you just want to watch me scream, you can do that as well. It's fine.
So there you go, getting prepped for that spooky, scary month, but for a good cause and for also helping people at the foundation. The good cause is, of course, watching Cammy get scared because it's really funny.
Yeah.
That works. But yeah, it's a great time. What's a couple of your stretch goals there, Cammy? We're gonna fill everyone. I'm gonna get every human being to know
You're
about
getting
this,
everyone in.
so that it explodes.
So I hit 100 already. Which I'm very grateful for. Jamie and Ukro. I know they both watched, so thank you. Um, so that means the final stream will be extra long, and I also have to dress up for the last stream. 150. This is in pounds. You can work it out in dollars. America.
I have no
I don't
idea
know.
what the transfer rate is. Yours is like Monopoly money in my mind. I've got no clue. It's just out of my head.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It feels like Monopoly money to I think everyone.
Hey.
150 is again even more extra time, and then 200 is playing Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's right. Some great goals for a great cause at my favorite time of the entire year, Halloween. It's gonna
My least
be
favorite.
Oh god, I love it so much. And it's got a lot of scary stuff going on. Speaking of scary, Amazon's breakout game, an
Mhm.
MMO called New World. I don't really like MMOs. I guess as
Not
close
my
as I can
thing.
get is old school RuneScape. I'll jump into that every now and again. But I don't even know if that counts as an MMO. That's how little I play them. But apparently, Luke's been giving it a try. He had a lot to say about just how compatible it was for streaming. It felt like a game built for streaming, but it's doing it's doing pretty well. How well is it doing, Cammy? If we had to get a rough number on that.
Rough number. Uh, Over 700,000 concurrent players. That's its peak. I think it was 707,000, something like that. A lot of people. And it's the most played Steam game of this year. It hit that in like one day, in 24 hours of it being out, something ridiculous like that. Um, Speaking of you talking about it on stream, I before I like went live on Twitch, I was just kind of scrolling through, and is it Fex Life? I rarely ever watch his streams, but they're always really high up there. I was like, oh, he's playing New World. I'll click on it, and I clicked on it just at the moment that he was ninth in the queue, and then something happened to the servers, and then he went to like 2000th and something or other, and he was
Oof.
like, poor dude. He worked it out to be about an 8.5 hour queue time because that's what the people are complaining about is the servers and the queue length.
That's usually what it
Of it.
is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's opening day. It's what happens. I don't know what I heard something about Diablo 3 in Jason Schreier's book having some server issues at
Mhm.
launch. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I read that book, and I don't play
Yeah, it
Diablo.
was. I'm sure it was.
Oh well, there we go. But yeah, this is something that happens. Reviews are mixed right now, mostly because of that, I imagine. But well, once the dust settles, we'll see what we really have here. Once the hype's out of the way, once these technical issues are backed off, because at least that doesn't sound like the game itself is really struggling. Or maybe, the game itself is completely broken, but no one can get in to even see it because of the
Well,
servers. Who knows? We have to wait a little bit longer to actually see what's going on with this one. But
what
it's
you might have to do is, oh, I was just gonna say when Luke arrives, you might just have to ask him, and then you can put a quick clip now of Luke being completely off guard and being like, it's no, like that.
I might.
You might just do that.
If I got the footage of Luke, if I remembered, here it is. If I didn't put up a picture of an ape, now you know. Now you know which one happened and what's really going down. On the bright side, I have so many pictures of monkeys on my computer that if it's not Luke, the editing time, no different. Just dropping a monkey picture.
Excellent.
So we're all good in that. And speaking about monkeying around, PlayStation's getting a little... They got Bluepoint. They did. I watched a movie. I was with my cousins last night, and I watched a Mystery Science Theater episode called Time of the Apes, a Japanese ripoff of Planet of the Apes, and it was just us making ape puns all night. It was good fun.
That's continuing here.
And it's spilled over into my everyday life. I think I might have an issue. I might have a problem. But they got them. PlayStation, Sony. They snagged them. It was suspected for a very long time when they made nothing but good games for years. Pretty straight up.
Yeah, they've been working with Sony for a really long time. Like the Nathan Drake collection, that's them. Shadow of Colossus remake, that's them. Demon Souls, that's them. And when Sony got Housemarque, I think it was June this year.
Yeah, that sounds right.
PlayStation Japan put up like the banner thing that shows the PlayStation family, like saying "Welcome to, yeah, you're here now." And they also had Bluepoint within the family, so everyone was like, and now it's true.
Now it's true, and it's a good buy for sure. I've played a little bit of Demon Souls and the Nathan Drake collection, but Shadow of the Colossus, I spent like 2 days at my parents' house. They own Sony equipment for my little brother. I played through that entire game in those 2 days. I absolutely fucking love it. It's fantastic. And I wasn't actually, I didn't fully know that was them that did it. So all the more props to them. It's fantastic.
They made the remake rebooty thing.
That's right. That's what I played.
Remake.
It was so good. Oh my God. It's because that game it had like a couple like clunky controls. So it felt like a PS2 game that just looked like incredible, which I'm A-okay with. It was like almost nostalgic, but also like, oh my God, new stuff at the same time. Haven't had a game that gave me that feeling in a very long time. I adored it. But no price announced for Bluepoint. Here's hoping it's a pretty penny, or whatever you guys call money over there, a pretty pound. For that. No, you don't. You don't have to lie. But hopefully everyone, gets a little bonus there just in time for the Halloween season. Dress up in some spooky costumes. And it was I heard rumors about it a while back. Next project probably going to be something original. They've earned it at this point. Boo! Spooky, scary. Probably not. It's probably something serious. I'm excited to see what they do. It seems like they've proven themselves at this point, and I can't wait to see what they work on. Unless it sucks.
Let's be positive. It won't.
It won't. I mean, they haven't done anything bad yet.
No. I think this has been a long time coming, and when the announcement came out, everyone was like, yeah.
Oh, there you go. They're truly the breakout stars of the industry. Wait a minute. Outbreak Day. This is what I like to call wonderfully stupid, this Outbreak Day stuff, because God almighty, it's just a dumb marketing thing that you might see in like the 90s. But at the same time, it's like, but it's a bunch of fun stuff. So do you really want to be cynical about it? It's
Yeah.
Outbreak Day! Yay!
People
What?
who don't know, Outbreak Day is a day in the Last of Us universe that the outbreak happened. But slash Joel's birthday, so they're on the same day. And every year since The Last of Us came out, Outbreak Day is when they release some fun stuff. Some like
Yeah,
thank you to the community stuff. So, woo!
some pretty cool stuff. They got a little album out, I believe. I don't know if is it on vinyl? I didn't actually
Yes,
check if it was on vinyl. Okay, I
use
might get it
vinyl.
then. As you can see behind me,
Sure it is.
I like my
Um,
vinyl.
Vinyl, Spotify, all the stuff, and it's called Covers and Rarities. So it's
Aww.
like, so it's some of the covers that they sing in The Last of Us Part Two. So Future Days from Troy Baker, who plays Joel. Take on Me, which is the one I was most excited about.
Pretty good.
From Ellie, like Ashley Johnson. True Faith, which is in the trailer. Through the Valley, which was in the announcement trailer. Again, one I was very hyped to see. And then Wayfaring Stranger, which is what Joel and Ellie slash Troy and Ashley sing in the credits of The Last of Us Part 2. So very good, very fun, and sad. Because
Last of Us-y. It's fitting.
yeah,
It's
it's
stuff.
fitting.
It's got a
Yeah,
little. Speaking of fitting, well, a nice it would look fitting on your shelf. A nice little Joel statue.
I saw a Joel statue, an old man Joel statue.
Chances are they're
And it's
not going to have a chance to do another Joel statue next year. If you catch my drift.
yeah,
Unless
yeah.
they want to, they could do something. I would buy that statue. I stand by it. I wish they had statues from like The Walking Dead of like Negan with the
Really gory
bat.
ones.
Yeah, or like Abby. Like that would be awesome. Because whatever you want to think, oh, I don't like gore or whatever, in terms of animation, like it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it's
So,
impressive.
and I think it's
Uh,
funny.
New merch,
Anyways, new
God,
merch.
clothes, accessories. I think more exciting than anything, two guitars,
That's true.
um, and plectrums, guitar straps, stuff like that. Very nice looking guitars.
I do need a
Very, very
guitar
nice.
strap for my acoustic, so
There you go. You can
or a
get
whole
a
new guitar.
wow.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
But I
knows?
think the thing that made the biggest rounds was The Last of Us HBO still. I'm so excited.
It's going to
I
be
didn't think I
great.
would be, and then they cast Pedro Pascal, and I was like, okay.
And he's going to
Excited
be in a
now.
role where we can actually see his face and he can actually act.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought for a second that would be a hot take, a controversial take, but I think about everyone would agree that as much as we like him as our lovely Mandalorian, you know, there's probably is a lot more to him than just walking around and saying like really lame lines. It's really bland lines.
Mandalorian, you can't really. I mean, I love the Mandalorian, but it's not testing your acting skills all that much.
Not really, especially.
He was really good in Game of Thrones.
Oh well, there you go. I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
He was in the seasons before it got shit.
Oh well, there you go.
And he wasn't in it for very long, but he was like a big fan favorite character. Everyone really loved him, and he was really good in that.
Oh
Um,
great.
I know he's in Narcos as well. A lot of people like him in that.
Oh, Narcos is on my list. I've been
Yeah,
told to watch that multiple times.
so I think he's done things that sort of stretched his acting before, but nothing too recent. So this is back to that. And oh my God, in the still, I thought it was it took me a minute because I just thought it was from the game.
Yeah, same here. Which
It looks so accurate. It's creepy.
that's a testament to both the HBO series and Naughty Dog because good God, that
It looks
confusion
so
doesn't
good.
happen often where you look at something and you're just like, "Oh, wow. That looks just like a Naughty Dog game." Wait a minute, it's real life and you're like taken aback by it in that way. That's a
Yeah.
little funky to think about.
I'm still thinking about those two backs. Strange. I've never thought about backs so much in my life, and now
Ellie has really pronounced ears. Look at the image again, everybody. You'll see
I
what I
looked at
mean.
the I was looking at the backpacks. Those are so accurate, it's insane.
It
From
is
like
pretty
the tape
crazy.
that's like holding Joel's up in all these badges and stuff. It was so good.
It's pretty great. I can't wait to see it. I'm
I'm
pretty pumped
excited.
up. Hey, HBO Max too. Add another one to that list of great things to watch on there. Love it. Love that. I've heard okay, this is a little off topic. Have you used HBO Max at all, Ms. Huddlestone?
I don't think it's in the UK. I'll
Oh.
double check, but I think
If it's not, that might be this might be a little. I've heard reports. I'll just say, while Kami's checking on this, that HBO Max has had some issues, especially around the time of like Suicide Squad's release, and I heard people having trouble watching *Malignant* when it came out, which is a movie I haven't seen yet. No spoilers for *Malignant*. Not in the UK. Okay, so this is pretty much just a good old American thing, as far as I can tell. I've heard people say that it's not working too hot. I have not experienced it yet, but and I don't know what that could be. It's just got me really curious. I was going to ask, is like, if you have any issues with it, but I guess since it's not over there. So I guess in the comments below, let me know if you've had any problems with HBO Max, because I haven't heard it on the internet. I've heard it from people around me that have used it, and they use it primarily to watch stupid DC garbage, like horrible DC garbage. Not Suicide Squad, but like Batman v Superman and Man of Steel and all that just absolute trash that they put out. Unless you like it, in which case, like what you like.
I was going to say, before people get too mad.
You're allowed like what you like, yeah.
Yeah. But those films
God. That's my personal opinion. I think it's trash. But if you can get enjoyment out of something I can't get enjoyment out of, more power to you. Chances are you'll like more things in your life than I will.
Speaking
and that's all well and good.
People having opinions.
Hey, that's exactly where I was going with it.
Yay!
Oh, God. Hit him with it, Kami.
God of War is categorically the best game. You can't argue with it, according to IGN and a lot of people who voted it's the best game. And if you don't think so, you're wrong.
If you don't think so, you're an idiot, and it's going to cause an argument. What a stupid, stupid, stupid waste of time, IGN. Every single time I think there's something redeeming about them, because the other day I was looking on, they had a little story about, I guess the original writer for Friday the 13th. I barely remember the article because it's kind of just a rehash about suing for rights for that character and all that stuff. That was a really interesting article. Don't remember a lot about it because I read it right before I went to work, but it jogged my memory of all that stuff. And I was like, oh, well, IGN can do stuff that's like interesting about, you know, gaming and the industry. And then they do shit like this, which is basically just to stir the pot. It's like what Jason Schreier does every once in a while, but Jason Schreier is really talented and, you know, writes his own books and gets all this amazing information. Yeah. It's just such a waste of time because now you have all these people arguing, all these people upset. They're like, oh, GTA 5 should have gotten it. Halo Combat Evolved should have gotten it. Halo Reach should have gotten it. I can't believe there's no platformers on here. Chrono Trigger wasn't on there. Mario 64 wasn't on there. There's not even any representation for the NES, SNES. It doesn't matter at all. And some people still care, even though it doesn't matter at all. And IGN has effectively just made it one big, gigantic mess by saying everyone voted for God of War. It's definitive, I guess, now. I guess it's the best game. Because we did a March Madness bracket with, what, 64 games? It's a lot more than 64 games out there. That's all I'll say. At least I think it was 64 games.
Because you're ranting.
Oh, it's just the dumbest thing. If people think God of War is the best game of all time, no problem with that. I think God of War is an awesome game. I think it's up there.
Game.
It's definitely up there for me.
Yeah, and of all the ones in the bracket, like, it would have definitely been up there for me, if not the one for me. Let me see how many there are. Is it not going to just tell me?
It's most likely 64. I think that's the standard for those dumb brackets that they do every once in a while. Because someone else did that too. They did like Best Retro. And then I think like Breath of the Wild was there. And then, oh, it's just so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. It's
64. You are correct.
I can't believe the same week on the Tuesday show where we talk about movies and award shows just being the stupidest thing. This wraps up, and it's just the same exact thing. If this angers you, or if this, specifically for the people that this upsets, shut up It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Let the people who like God of War like God of War, and people who like God of War as their favorite game of all time. This doesn't mean anything. It just means that a bunch of people that have the same opinion as you said it at the same time. It doesn't make it a definitive thing. Just like what you like, call that that. That's all I have to say about it. Pretty neat. I guess
I
it's
would
great to have a
say,
definitive best game of all time, at least.
oh yeah, it's this now
It's
apparently.
definitive. We got to get him a trophy.
Um, look, the things I would say. Okay, first off, God of War is an amazing game,
It is, yeah.
and I'm not angry that it's won this bracket in particular. But yeah, best video game of all time. One, that's really subjective. What? That was a very guilty face for 1 second.
I think. Hold on.
Oh
Ooh.
no.
No, I remembered I did something last night. I got the charge just popped up on my bank account, and I was like, "What in the fuck did I just get charged for?" And it's Paramount Plus, so I can watch Star Trek. Never mind. Go on.
Feeling we all know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, something's happened. No. Just bought something drunk. First, yeah. Best game of all time is really subjective. Like, I know my favorite games of all time. It's like, I don't. Okay, so Red Dead 2 is my favorite game of all time. But I don't like it just because I think it is, like, categorically, it is the best. The graphics and this and that and the other and the dialogue and everything. I say it's my favorite game of all time for much more personal reasons than that. So it's like when you say the best game of all time, I don't think you like it's you go into the argument of is video games art, and I think it is because I think you view it from like an emotional perspective, right?
Right.
And everyone's perspective is going to be different. So if you're upset, just think about it like that. Like you might really love a game that isn't on here. Like there's loads of games not on here.
It's only
You might love
64.
it's only 64 out of the whole, which is a whole other thing. It's
Yeah.
stupid, but point is, if you're upset about this and you think, well, I really don't think God of War is the best game of all time, remember that this is trying to make this subjective is just you can't do it because it's a subjective thing. Calling something the best is subjective. You can't do it. So
It's called lazy journalism. When you do stuff like this, instead of because IGN doesn't really have much personality these days. I think there's a couple of people that I'm kind of like really cool with over there that I'm like, oh cool, if they're reviewing something, I kind of trust their opinion. For the most part, though, it's a big corporate conglomerate, big crazy company, and if they're like they're never gonna say outright, like if they did a panel that was like, here's IGN editors' favorite games of all time, no one would click on that. So they have to spin it to make it objective, so that you'll click on it and interact with it and get them ad revenue, and that's all it is. It's corporate down to the letter. But yeah, put
look
it
at
out of your
this. Think of
mind.
it as a bit of fun, but if don't let it upset you.
Don't let it
If
upset
you're
you.
that sort of person.
Don't let it pump you up like a crazy person. If you disagree with it, if you're like, oh, this isn't true, make your own game that they vote best game of all time, and then once you complete the game, you'll be like, it actually doesn't matter, and then they'll be like, what? You beat us.
We went on quite a bit of a tangent.
That's fine. It was on topic. We just had to delay the last 3 points we had here. Wait a minute. God of War Ragnarok was delayed.
It was.
But there was a reason I didn't know about, and then I read our notes here, and I'm still not 100% sure. So, Cammy, explain what's going on here. Well, I read Judge, and I was like, Mike Judge, and I just thought of King of the Hill, and that was that. My brain was done.
It was after this. So, obviously, IGN's a pretty big company, and we've already said what we have to say about the very objective poll that they had. After God of War was called it, obviously people from the God of War dev team celebrated, which is fair because, you know, as much as it isn't definitive, it's still a thing to celebrate if you were part of that game that a good portion of people still voted out of a pretty healthy portion of games, yours being the favorite. So they were celebrating. Cory Barlog and everything was celebrating. And Christopher Judge, who plays voices, mocaps, everything, Kratos in the 2018 version, it got in his feels. And he put out like a Twitter thread saying like thank you and everything, and then he said he wanted to be 100% honest, and just like tell people that the reason that Ragnarok was delayed was because he had intensive surgery on his back. I think he had both hips replaced. He couldn't walk. It was a big thing, and he just wanted, like, this isn't checked off by Santa Monica Studios or anyone. This isn't a official statement. This is just on his personal Twitter. But Cory Barlog replied, so I think it's pretty obvious it's true. And why would you lie about that anyway? But that's
Odd
besides
thing
the
to
point.
lie about, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, and they delayed it because of him, because he couldn't perform, he couldn't do the job he needed to do, and he just wanted to like both let the fans know that and throw credit out to Santa Monica, who were really, really lovely about it, and just there was no pressure for him to come back to work, and there was no like, oh, we've got a big thing going on here, like how dare you be ill, and there was no, it was just, he just said it was a lovely environment to be in, and I think that's more the reason he wanted to share the information, was just to be like, hey, sorry the delay's on me, but everyone was really lovely, and if we're hyping up this game, let's also hype up the people around it who were really, really nice. Because guess what? Your health comes before a video game being released.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of corporate people out there would probably disagree, but it's the truth. And it's nice to see a studio recognize that and say, like, hey man, your health comes first. Like, it doesn't matter the pressure that this studio's under. It's like, your health comes first, my dude. So yeah,
There
it's
you
a
go.
wholesome story.
A nice,
Wholesome
happy little
story.
story after a good bit of. I can't believe they celebrated. I didn't know they were celebrating.
You know, if you went, yeah, on Twitter, like Santa Monica Studios, Cory Barlog, everyone involved was like, yeah, thank you, oh my god. It was like trending. Other studios were congratulating them. It was a pretty big deal.
Oh.
Which is again why I think we're saying, you know, if you were upset about it,
Yeah,
because
it
there was a
seems
lot,
like. Yeah.
there were a lot of reactions to it. So if you were one of the people celebrating, like, because you think God of War is great, then yeah, it is great. But also, video games are a very subjective thing.
I just really hope this isn't.
Incredibly so.
I hope this isn't cited at like E3 or something. I know it won't be.
It's,
That's one
well,
way that you know. If they're not going to cite,
if it's not
IGN.
going to be on the front of a special edition, like, you know, when you get
Yeah.
I don't think I have one down here, but when you get like
Best in show
winner
or.
of
Yeah.
that team of year, that's like official.
They're
I
just
don't
eye
think they're
catchers.
gonna
Yeah.
release. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna release God of War with a thing on it that says IGN. We could be wrong. In 6 months' time, we could be completely wrong. But
If that does happen, that's embarrassing. Because
that's
that is.
embarrassing.
They
Gross,
they probably have
disgusting.
so many other accolades they could list on the front of that game.
Yeah,
Like they
God of
get
War.
you get
Game
best
of
of show at
year.
a trade conference, which still doesn't really mean anything
But
at
it
like
means more
E3.
than.
But you get the little leaves, and people that recognize E3 if they see, IGN held a March Madness bracket about it. So, here's our next game, and there you go.
Anyway,
Anyways,
good on God of War. Well done, Santa Monica, for not being dicks. If you like God of War, congrats. But March Madness, anything like that, video games are
anything
subjective.
if someone
Don't hang on
says
to it.
if someone says I love this because of March Madness bracket, stop them. It's done. It's over.
Shut up.
Oh man, the trials and tribulations we have to go through as gamers. Wait a minute.
Oh.
An epic gamer moment. I hate saying the word gamer. I don't know why.
Gamer.
I don't like how it sounds.
Player.
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 I love it when you call me big gamer. Anyways, PS5 download trials. I also knew nothing about this.
Well, this was No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was good. I think we were about to say the exact same thing. This is a UK thing to start out. It
It's a
seems
UK thing.
not a
And
thing over here.
it's very new. It's only like cropped up today. I literally wrote the notes on this about 10 minutes before we started filming.
Oh, well, there you
Um,
go.
there's no wonder you haven't heard of it. Basically, PlayStation is trying a new thing out. If you have a PlayStation 5 and you're in the UK, it's only on PlayStation 5 in the UK at the moment, then you can get a free trial for Death Stranding, the Director's Cut, and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. It's only those two games at the moment. It's only the UK at the moment. It's only PS5 at the moment. I don't know if those things are going to change. I'm imagining that if it's successful, they'll introduce more games and they'll make it worldwide. But at the moment, just the UK. But it might be easier to explain if I just show you.
Oh, okay, yeah, go for that. I think idea-wise, yeah, download trial right there.
Download trial.
35
So
euros.
I'm doing this in reverse. But yeah, instead of just buying the game, you can download a trial. It's on, like I say, it's on Sackboy: Big Adventure and the director's cut of Death Stranding. But it sort of works like I think Resi did it. Resi 8 did it
Yeah.
earlier this year, and a lot of big video game devs do it for the gamers, for the streamers, for
Epic
the
Gamers.
YouTubers. Yeah, where they give you the game for a certain period of time. So Death Stranding is 6 hours. Sackboy: Big Adventure is 5. Basically, you download it and you have that time of the game. So it's sort of like a demo, but more like a beefed up demo.
Beef. Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's one of the more consumer friendly things Sony has done in a long time.
Yeah, get people invested in the game after maybe if they did some market research and they're like, if people make it to 5 hours, they most likely make it to the end of the game in Sackboy, or same with Death Stranding. If they get 6 hours in and they really enjoy it, that's kind of when they decide to. So there might be some logic behind this. We'll see how it goes. Death Stranding Director's Cut is a funky one because that game's kind of
Yeah,
old, but Sackboy I would love to see them do that with like, hey, put Returnal up there. People have all but forgotten about
yeah.
Returnal so far, so pop
They could
Returnal up
give
there for a trial.
it for games that sort of like you have to play it almost to see if you're gonna end up liking it.
Yeah,
Those
that'd be
sort of
perfect. I
things.
think Sackboy's one of those games too, because no one gives
Yeah.
Sackboy a fair shake.
I think the impression I'm getting is they're almost using the UK as a trial zone. See how many people do it. See how many people then buy the game after they've had the trial. Before they go worldwide. That would be my guess. It is just a guess. The only thing I've read so far that I've thought, okay, that's one thing they need to sort out, is the timer starts as soon as you start downloading the game, not as soon as you start playing it. So you don't actually get 6 or 5 hours with the game. If you're in an area with really shitty internet and it takes you 4.5 hours to download Sackboy, you've only got half an hour to play the game. And you have to play it then and there.
Yeah, not the best, Sony.
So that's kind of funky. That's not a smart idea. So if they fix that, I think that's a much better way to go. If they say, okay, it's from when you first boot up the game, you then have that time. I think that's much more fair.
Yeah,
But even that,
definitely.
it's a pretty good idea.
It's all good. I got awesome internet where I'm at. Got
Yeah,
that business class, so
no problem for Jacob.
yeah, I can enjoy this. And if you can't,
Well,
no, I'm kidding. I'm sure they'll work it out. They'll figure something
they'll
out.
work it out.
From when you hit the
This is a
start
very
button,
early on thing,
Sony,
but
from when you boot up,
yeah,
anything, Sony, maybe built-in timer into the game, although then you'll have to re-download stuff in the it's tricky. It's definitely
it
not
is tricky.
because you probably want to lock it out in the store. That's probably easiest. But we don't need to get technical with all of it. We'll see what they
Yeah,
do.
it's the
Uh
thing that's starting to happen.
it's an interesting thing too, and I think that's a good
Yeah.
story. That's a good that we're probably the first people to talk about that too.
Oh,
Take that,
Oh my god!
everybody. Hey, Jason Schreier, what's this? No, that's fine. But I'm warning you, Jason Schreier. If you write another book, I'm going to buy it, and man, I'll probably forget to read it like this last one he got. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Press Reset.
I haven't. I read the first one. I haven't read the second one.
First one's really... Oh, we're in the same boat. Maybe we'll have to jump on that.
Book review.
Apparently his newer book is like a darker take because it's like on like indie game. Wait a minute! Spider-Man Darker. I don't know if it's a darker book. It seems like just a different kind of book. Anyways, enough about Jason Schreier's books that you should definitely read. Darker Spider-Man 2. With the release of Venom Let There Be Carnage, a movie I have no intention of seeing ever, it seems like Insomniac wanted to clear the air a little bit and had something to say about this new Spider-Man game. And they likened it. They did something that I never like anyone ever to do, ever, until like it's been released. They likened it to something that is already massively successful and like ever present in pop culture. So Kane, I'll let you break this down and then I'll explain my reasoning behind my statement. Then I can rant a little bit.
It's just a really quick story. Insomniac basically said that Spider-Man 2 is going to be their darkest Spider-Man game so far. So darker than the first one, darker than Miles Morales. They likened it to being The Empire Strikes Back, which is what Jacob is.
Never fucking do that. Never. Ever do that.
Their point is they've established everything. Now in the sequel, they're gonna probably like mess with your emotions a little bit, and it's gonna be
have
a bit
Spidey lose
in the first one. Maybe. Well, we've got two Spideys.
Spideys.
Maybe one Spidey can.
Maybe one of their heads gets smushed.
Be a little squish Spidey.
Go into the multiverse. I hope they don't do any multiverse stuff. As much as I like Into the Spider-Verse, I think that's going to be the downfall of the MCU. We'll see. I think it's going to become too crowded. Anyways, the reason I don't like this, because it's not anything to do with Insomnia. I adore Insomnia. They're one of my favorite companies. They're amazing. And I have full confidence that they could very well pull off another Spider-Man game that is worthy to be compared to Empire Strikes Back in either structure or tone or just overall quality. But the thing you have to remember is that when you say, if you liken something to one of the most popular, best reviewed, beloved sci-fi films of all time, like sci-fi adventure films, that's kind of putting you in a tough spot if you come up short. It's like those horror movies that go like, it's a monster movie, and they're like, it's in the woods. It's a deer monster, and it's like, it does to the woods what Jaws did to the ocean. It's like, okay, but do you realize what you did? Now that comparison's been made now.
This is just reminding me of something that I debated on putting in the doc that I decided against because I thought it would make you too angry. And now I feel like I have to say it.
Say it away.
But, the makers behind The Medium, the game that Jacob really, really loves by Bluepoint, the team said that they think in 5 years' time they'll be rivals with Naughty Dog. They said in all seriousness.
Oh, oh my god. Actions, the whole point of all this is actions speak louder than words in every fucking case. And so I trust Insomnia as a studio because they've been doing stuff I like for over 20 years, almost 25 years at this point since Spyro. They're killing it constantly. And if they want to say this, they probably have more merit than most studios have to say it. But what a lot of studios will do, and it's something I saw with Captain Marvel, I think, from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, bringing it back with that. There was reviews, I believe, bringing it full circle, coming from IGN, likening it to Pulp Fiction. And I was just like, you can't do that. That's not something you do. I don't think it was reviews. I think it was part of the marketing team because it was set in the 90s. And they were like,
Yeah.
there's a Pulp Fiction reference, and the movie actually feels like Pulp Fiction. It's like, you have to
Stop.
you have to earn what Pulp Fiction earned. You have to earn what Empire Strikes Back earned. You have to earn you have to earn those legacies. You have to earn the ability to have a thing you created that is so fantastic people will take it as a reference to their own. It's very rare, which is, this is not a bash on Insomniac, because I have I have faith in them, as I'm said, but it's very rare for people that say it's the next Jaws, it's the next Star Wars, for that to be anything more than mediocre. That's just how it always goes. This is a lighter, because I get what they're saying structure wise. Because I agree. I
Yeah.
think structure wise, you go for something like an Empire Strikes Back, but you don't say, this is our Empire Strikes Back. That's the difference I'm making.
I
You
get what you mean.
don't make that
You have
comparison.
to earn those comparisons to something that great.
Yeah.
You have to be good on your own 2 feet, and then in the years to come, you have to earn people who have nothing to do with you or your company saying that. You can't say on your own terms, this is the next,
Yeah, if you're saying
whatever.
if you say this is our Empire Strikes Back canonically, this is like chronologically, if we were looking at this is our Empire Strikes Back. And I think that's more of what they're saying. But of
I
course I'm
think it is.
biased. I really like Insomniac. And I'll be more hard on the studio that worked on the medium than Insomniac, of course. But because I'm glad you brought this up, because I'd all but forgotten about the medium. It was just a horribly mediocre, middle of the line, just not a very good game, an uninteresting game that didn't have enough gameplay to it, not an interesting enough story. It had one gimmick that I thought was kind of cool, and then just got kind of old after time. It was an overall disappointment. But if that studio wants to say, we're going to be the next Naughty Dog, like in 5 years, you need to release new games that are as good as Naughty Dog's, which right now only like 4 studios do. And so they haven't done that yet. They have no right to say that, but I guess it shows confidence. You released a game at best. What's that studio called? I don't even know what that studio is called.
Bloober Team?
Bloober Team. I was gonna say Squid something, because I think Bloober Team. Good God. There's a way to make these references and likening stuff that makes it somewhat meritable, somewhat respectful, and not incredibly stupid. I think that's what Insomniac was going for, but of course I'm biased, I will say. But just to clarify one last time, because I know that I always feel like whenever I go on these rants, I don't make it very clear, and I can make things a little convoluted. What Insomniac is doing for Spider-Man 2, if they're saying that this is their Empire Strikes Back, that's fine. Chronologically, that's fine. If they were saying, though, that this is, for Spider-Man, this is Empire Strikes Back. It's about on par with that. Big difference, at least in my mind. And for the medium to outright say we're going to be the next Naughty Dog is so fucking silly, because Naughty Dog, I assure you, never sat down at a table and said, we are going to be the next something or other. We're going to be on. They just made good stuff. So make good stuff, Bloober Team.
The medium developer wants to compete with Naughty Dog and Bungie in 5 years. That's what they said.
Want to compete? If you want to compete, no big deal. If you say, I want to be the next Naughty Dog, make games. That's what Naughty Dog does. They don't say...
If you want to compete, you got to make games.
Yeah. You got to make something better than a gimmicky, flat rate, honest-to-God knockoff of games that are outdated at this point. Like the medium. Don't play the medium. No ill will, by the way, at the people at that studio. It might be a marketing stunt. It might be one guy. And they, the game looked okay, the medium. I remember that. Didn't we all play that? That was like right at the start of Press Start.
I did not play that.
Okay.
We were going to, and then I downloaded it, and you all went, it ain't good. And I thought, I ain't wasting my time then.
I couldn't believe how that day. It was genuinely like, woof.
And the direct quote about Star Wars is, If the first Spider-Man game was Star Wars, Spider-Man 2 is kind of our empire. It gets a little darker.
There you go. That's exactly what I was saying.
Better wording.
Better wording
Much
for
better
sure.
wording.
Well, there you go. Well, even if none of this meant anything, there's a bottle cap in my pocket for some reason. At least we got that little bit of information out of the way so that you, when you're working on video games later down the line, you know. Never once say that your game is going to be the next something or is going to be the something. Say that, you know, if we're looking at this objectively in a term of structure, that's similar to how our game is going to turn out chronologically. Which sounds pretentious as shit, but it makes you look less stupid, which is half the battle. And being less
Words are
stupid,
important.
that's right. That'll be the moral. Words are good.
I feel like I condensed your rant down for you.
Yeah, wording
Words
is
are
very important. And the medium was a bad game. And it's kind of like, I don't want to be too mean. I don't want to be too mean to Bloober team. But for them to say we want to compete with those two in 5 years, it's like, well, then you better have a pretty good plan. Right?
A good 5-year plan. 5 years is not long.
A 5-year plan, at most, in a 5-year plan with a studio like that. I would imagine 2 games, at most.
Yeah.
So they better be 2 really. If it's a sequel to the medium that irons out all its wrinkles, I'm 100% welcoming that. I think that would show that it's like, oh, they learned from their mistakes. They learned how to make an interesting game. They come out with something new after that. Hell, maybe they're able to pull it off, and I'd be all for that. But, you know, it's got to be seen to be believed. If you want to compete with the big boys, you got to just compete with them. Not say to news outlets, we're going to compete with them. And then hope that that makes it real, because it doesn't. You want to compete against good games? Make good games. That's the moral. Also, brush your teeth. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and if you're in the UK, don't panic buy petrol.
Yeah, don't do that. That's what happened with
Don't do
toilet
that.
paper. It's a mess.
Don't do that.
Did you see that video of the guy on his horse walking up to the petrol station?
No.
This guy, they were buying, there's big lines of gas. This guy on a horse. He's just like rocking back and forth as he rides up past everybody. It was pretty good. I like that. But hey, speaking of liking that, I liken this episode of Press Start to Shawshank Redemption because it's better than every other news show ever, definitively. We asked 30 people and they voted us first place. So, yeah,
Yep.
Welcome. But this is a fun episode. Luke will be back next week. I'm going to skedaddle and go see him. But we'll see y'all next time. Everybody, like and subscribe. Remember to check out Ms. Huddlestone doing her Halloween streams for the Safe
in Our World.
Safe in Our World. God damn it. I know Trevor Project and I know Alice's kids. And then every other charity just falls out of my brain because I'm a moron. Because I'm a
Do you want to
stupid
plug your
moron.
album?
No, that's okay. We'll do that on the Tuesday show.
Are you sure?
Stay
It's
tuned for
really
that.
good.
No, it's okay.
Oh.
No, it'll plug them into the other show. It's marketing. We're manipulating them.
Okay.
Cut this
Oh,
part
okay,
out.
sorry.
We're manipulating them. I'm going to manipulate our audience into watching a different thing we do on the channel to then consume something I made.
I won't tell them. Don't
Okay,
worry.
good. Are you ready to go back in?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1.